The investigation expands in the kidnapping of Jaycee Dugard. Crime tape wraps around a neighbor's home, and still more bizarre twists unraveling in this case. Law enforcement agencies today scoured the Antioch property of Jaycee's alleged abductors.
Phillip and Nancy Garrido pled not guilty to charges involving the kidnapping, rape, and imprisonment of Jaycee Dugard. Well, authorities say the couple kept the 11-year-old Jaycee in a secret backyard compound of the sheds and tents for 18 years, where she gave birth to 2 daughters fathered by Phillip Garrido. More neighbors are now coming forward with strange stories of what was heard on the property where Jaycee was held.
Andrew Luria has the details from Antioch.
While the property right next door to the Garrido house is now a crime scene, the owner of the property behind spoke only to CBS13 today about some of the many parties, he called them, that he saw over the last few years.
There's something going on. There was a lot more people involved than what they think.
In the 3 years Mike Rogers has owned this property, he says he witnessed 8, maybe 10 so-called parties in the Garrido backyard. There were bonfires and booze, and as many as 7 or 8 men there at a time.
I can see right into the shed. There's like a little window over there. I could see guys in there high-fiving, yelling, screaming, getting crazy back there. It was pretty bad.
This video, exclusive to CBS 13, shows a new up-close look at the compound of sheds and tents. Rogers says that he had a different view. But why did he never call police?
At that time, I had no suspicion of, I thought they were just, partying back here.
So knowing what you know now,
oh, man,
your thoughts?
It makes you sick,
But while Rogers owns this property, he doesn't live there. He uses the yard for storage, so he says that he only saw the activity sporadically. But he says the men he saw in the yard were by the sheds, mostly in their 20s and 30s, some not wearing shirts.
Afterwards, it would stop, and they were still drinking, and I didn't hear nothing else. It would quieten down a little bit, and they're still partying, the fire's going on. It's not like someone cried out for help. No one ever cried out for help.
Rogers says that until recently, he didn't even know that Garrido was a sex offender. In fact, his next-door neighbor who lives behind the Garrido house is a real estate agent. She's lived here for 33 years, and until April, when she looked at a Megan's Law website, she didn't know either.
All right, Andrew, thanks a lot for the update there. We should also point out here, folks, the neighbor, Mike Rogers, says that in the 8 to 10 encounters he witnessed, he never saw Phillip or Nancy Garrido in the backyard. He also says he didn't see Jaycee Dugard or any other girls during those parties.
And as you've seen, police have expanded the boundaries of the kidnapping crime scene. Yellow crime scene tape wraps around the home and property next to the Garridos. Damon Robinson has lived in the home for 3 years. But what may make the property interesting to authorities, well, neighbors say that prior to Robinson moving in, Garrido took care of that property. And Garrido is also now under suspicion in the unsolved murders of several prostitutes in the 1990s, raising the prospect that he was a serial killer as well. Now, Jaycee's captivity is over, but according to psychologists, the rescue is similar to leaving a cult. And it is not surprising that experts believe that Jaycee and the children will have permanent mental and emotional scars.
And it takes much longer to fix a person than to ruin a person. You can ruin a person in a half an hour. She had 18 years of it.
Experts say that Jaycee and the children will likely suffer symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, including anxiety, nightmares, depression, and also difficulty adjusting. The arrest of Phillip Garrido and his wife put the city of Antioch in the white-hot glare of the international media spotlight.
Lisa Chan on how Antioch residents are handling all the attention.
This small street in Antioch has been taken over by the media. We have heard crews from all over the U.S.
into one. Experts say it takes time to break those bonds.
Brazil, England, Australia, and Germany are here.
This is definitely world news.
Antioch is a small city making big headlines.
That's a huge story in Germany. We had 2 similar stories just recently. People in Germany are definitely interested in this story. This has a huge impact.
And an even bigger impact on the people who live here. Monique Lazzarini showed up to the quarterly Coffee with the Cops meeting at the Antioch Police Department to talk about her concerns with these sex offenders living in her neighborhood.
We never let our children go to the park because of the sex offenders that live 1 block. 2 sex offenders live 1 block from where we live, and they're the violent sex offenders. It's not someone that we want our children to be around.
We just tell them to be vigilant for any suspicious activities. As I had mentioned to them in there, everybody has rights, and we have to work within the parameters of the law.
The story has put some of the people of Antioch on edge and in the spotlight, but it's not the kind of attention they were hoping for.
It's like a bad bruise on the city, but it'll go away. Those kind of things happen all over the country, and I don't think if something happens in another city that it reflects on that city.
It's not what the whole city is about. It's just one person that can happen any place.
That is a bit of a supposition. The public is not asking, they're wondering.
The place where people are affected the most live on the same street as the suspect.
All this media and everything, it's just like out of this world.
People who live on this street say they aren't upset by all the news photographers and reporters that are taking over their street. It's the looky-loos. So the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Department is here to make sure the people who come down this street actually belong here.
You know, it'd be nice to get back to normal.
Okay, for the very latest on the Jaycee Dugard investigation, head to CBS13.com. We've set up a special section dedicated to this case. We've posted a link to Phillip Garrido's blog. There's also a slideshow of the investigation and a place to leave your comments.